Hello, family. Welcome to this surface code. On this surface code, I want to take a look at Dr. Damina, who came out to say God wasn't behind the fire outbreak in California. The fire that engulfed in California that burnt down so many properties that a lot of people were saying it was because of their sin. Because there was a video, there is a video that is trending online that one lady was talking that how many votes did this person get, and when it gets to God got 0 votes, and the people behind were laughing that because of their sins and all that. So he said the fire that engulfed, or the outbreak of fire in California, wasn't as a result of California or the people in California's sin. It's not as a result of their sin. It is an occurrence that happens every year. You know, when there's a lot of dry bush, when there is wind, there must surely be outbreak of fire, even without fuel or without lighting it. So he explained details in this video why God does not do evil in one way or the other. So God does not punish them because of their sin. He said even in Uyo there are more sinners than than California. So not because they are rich or whatsoever. So watch this video and I will be right back.
Any preacher says the judgment of God because there's too much sin in California. Who told you? There may be more sin in Uyo than California. How are you measuring sin? Is it because they have plenty money you think they are sinners? You know, poor people, anywhere they see rich people, they believe they are sinners. Oftentimes, we just require to interpret. Simply that. Someone said, God says, I form the darkness, I form the light, I the Lord do all this. I think it's Isaiah 45 or something. I the Lord, I form the light, I form darkness, I do all these things. All right? So someone said, Isaiah was wrong. How will Isaiah say that? Well, the guy, he got it wrong. I form the light, Isaiah 45:7, and create darkness. That word create is where you have problem. Did you observe? It didn't say I create light, I create darkness. I form light, I create. So where your problem is create. And now that's language. That's language. That's language. It didn't say I create light, I create darkness. I form light, I create darkness. They are not the same. There's intentionality in the writing of Isaiah. So you must do a study on create from Isaiah chapter 1 to the last chapter to see what create is in Isaiah. Create is not your today's create. There was a communication. If you don't get, you will think Isaiah is saying, I'm the one behind darkness. Just like I was on radio today and they were asking me about the California fires. That many preachers say is the judgment of God because there's too much sin in California. Who told you? There may be more sin in Uyo than California. How are you measuring sin? Is it because they have plenty money you think they are sinners? You know, poor people, anywhere they see rich people, they believe they are sinners. Who told you there's a lot of sin in California than it is in Nigeria? How are you measuring? Which barometer? Is it barometer? Which barometer? Or which thermometer? Or which stethoscope? Or which what other measuring thing do we have? Sinometer. Which sinometer did you use to measure that California has too much sin? That's why fires are burning. It's simple carelessness, human carelessness. Simple human carelessness. Leadership failure is as easy as that. Every year there is California fires. It's not a new development. It is what happens every year because it's a desert area. Those of you that have been around deserts, I came from northern Nigeria, I understand deserts. In the north, there are places you go where when it is dry and the wind begins to blow, the grasses catch fire without matches. In the north, when the weather is dry and the grasses are dry, there's a level of wind that will blow, the bush will catch fire without matches. It's the way it is with desert areas. So you are a leader over a desert area, and you know these things have been happening every year. What should you do as a leader? You should be proactive. By now you should have developed technology. You should have put the best brains to see what can be done to stop these fires. And you should have employed, you have all the money, America, you have all the technology, you have access to everything. You are even moving to Mars to go and create human life. Is it common dry weather and grass and trees that you cannot control? So when man fails to do what he needs to do, Satan will capitalize on that failure and destroy lives and destroy property. It's as easy as that. It cannot be God. God does not kill, God does not destroy. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I am come that you may have life. Is it clear here? Okay. So let's go back to I form light. I create darkness. It's language. Because if you go through the book of Isaiah to examine the word create, when we use create today, it's like to make something out of nothing. Okay? But that create there is like there's water log in an area. I'm just giving you an illustration. Okay? So, and because of water log, there's stagnant water, which will now produce mosquitoes, produce malaria, filaria, kilaria. if there are rheas like that, because of stagnant water, all kinds of diseases. So because we don't want that logged area to produce stagnant water that is dangerous to health, I walked into the place and I created a drainage. When I create a drainage, that water will be directed elsewhere. So now I have divided the water from the house and from the land. I have divided the water from the house and from the land. I have separated. Okay, so I said when God separated the light from the darkness, the word create means to separate. Separate doesn't mean to form. The only thing he formed was light. Darkness, he separated darkness from the light. How do we know? It's there in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 1, he separated. Give me Genesis 1 verse 4. Genesis 1:4. Teaching good tonight. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness, separated the light from the darkness. Next verse. And called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now separating the light from the darkness, does it mean he created it? Separated means it was already in existence. All he did was to separate it. So Isaiah was just talking about that God forms the light, but he also separates light from darkness, so that light and darkness cannot coexist. That's all he did. I'm teaching here. I said I'm teaching here. So separating the light from the night is what he called created. That's the word bara. Bara. B-A-R-A. So oftentimes it's a question of interpretation. Sometimes if we stay long enough in the Old Testament, we don't try to impose our thinking today on their thinking. If we stay long enough, we will understand what they were saying in their world.
Welcome back. I know why a lot of people were saying God is behind this, because they mock God. They do sort of evil things. In Nigeria, a lot of people mock God now. We have many people here in Nigeria that claim they are God, that they are Jesus. Do you know how many people that said there is no God in Nigeria? And then what, as a natural disaster never happened to us. So is it that God is just, locking up on us? So he said what he had to explain better. So that God is not behind it. It's a natural thing that happens in that place. Even in the north, this kind of stuff can happen anywhere where there is dry grass and there is a lot of wind. So it can eventually come. For most people who works in the farm, they will understand this in one way or the other. So I don't know what you think. Is it making sense or is not making sense? Is it saying the right thing or not? Do you believe that God wasn't behind the fire? Or is it that he is God that is punishing them because of their sin? Because a lot of people say they have a lot of, man to man, woman to woman, a lot of many things. Illuminati and all that, that is because of the too much sin. Nobody can calculate how many sin, how much sin, because sin is sin. So there is no sin that is bigger than if somebody stole 1,000 naira and another person stole 20,000 naira. Same name, they call them thief. Thief is thief. So there is no big. Disobedience is disobedience. Disobedience is sin. So anything disobedient, is no bigger disobedience, no smaller disobedience. So whatever you think in your mind, you can drop it in the comment section. Right. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share. God bless.